Welcome back, reality-based athletes and coaches. Thank you for joining me for another video today. I'm really excited to have you here. We are talking about the nucleus of reality-based athletics, and we're talking about personal accountability. Personal accountability. Now, it's a little bit different than what you probably think or what you've heard about this thing, accountability. From a reality-based context, we talk about it differently. Now, most times you've probably heard, be accountable for your actions. A lot of times when we talk about it, we hear people go straight to ownership. Who did this work, good or bad? Whose butt's on the line? You need to own up to your results. And a lot of times in sports, personal accountability comes across as my bad. That's my bad there, and or my fault, or I got it next time. And then sometimes when you're focused on this accountability thing, you got a lot of players that just keep saying my bad out of a habit, and they don't really make any changes. And so from a reality-based context, we really look at personal accountability differently. And we know that today's personal accountability is the best predictor of tomorrow's results. So that is why it's so important. Again, like I said, is the nucleus of reality-based athletics. So let's dive right in. So right now, if you're frustrated or stressed at all with your sport, you're very likely blaming your leaders or your circumstances for your poor results. And what's funny is they actually might be blaming you for their poor results as well. And whenever this is happening, it is usually not your circumstances or the other people that is causing, the issue. It's usually the root cause, almost always, a lack of personal accountability for everyone's dissatisfaction and a lack of understanding of its connections to both happiness and enjoyment in your sport and results. So like I said before, today's personal accountability is the best predictor of tomorrow's results. So you can have all the talent in the world, but it's never really going to be productive talent unless you start to develop personal accountability. So let's first start with the definition. Personal accountability is the belief that results happen because of me, not in spite of me. Or in other words, an accountable athlete believes that they choose their own destiny. What they do actually has an effect on the outcomes. Personal accountability is made up of 4 factors. The first one is commitment. Now, this is the willingness to do whatever it takes. It starts with yes, I am all into that game plan, that strategy, this team. I am all in. A commitment to do whatever it takes. And then it's followed by number 2, resilience. And this is the ability to stay the course in spite of setbacks or obstacles. And this is actually, resilience is the fuel that powers personal accountability. So you're all in to whatever the game plan is or whatever, your development plan is with your sport. And then you're resilient. You try whatever you can to improve. You watch video, you practice on your own, you watch pros do what they do, you watch someone that's better than you, you study people. And then after that, if you're committed to what you're doing and try all you can to get that goal or that thing that you want, then ownership, number 3, comes up, and ownership won't hurt. And that is the ability to accept whatever happens, good or bad. And the thing about, if you're all in committed, you're resilient, you try all you can to make it work or achieve your goal, ownership doesn't hurt. Good or bad, you can own your results. You don't have to make excuses, you don't have to have regrets, you can just own it up. And then the 4th factor, there's a lot of stuff out there on growth mindset, and that's what the 4th factor kind of is about. But the first 3 are important to get to that 4th one, and it's called continuous learning. And what this is the ability to see your failures and your successes as future fuel to either have more successes or to learn from those failures. So the 4 factors again: commitment, resilience, ownership, and then continuous learning. So those 4 factors all kind of came full circle for me when I thought about this classmate I used to have back in high school. And it was actually in math class where I saw personal accountability really, come to life. And it was whenever we got an assignment, she would just be all into that assignment. She would do whatever it took to get that done. So I'd kind of sit back and watch her because I would get my assignment done, but if I ran into an obstacle, I might just put a little bit of work down there and get past it, to be honest with you. But what she would do is amazing. So she was all in, and she went to number 2, resilience. And she would, get on the internet if she couldn't find the answer and see if there's another teacher that would explain it. She'd get on YouTube. And then after that, she would, ask another person in the class if he knew how to work through the problem because he was really good at it as well. If that didn't work, she'd reread the book and see what's there. And then if that didn't work, she would look in the back and see if there's a way that would walk her through the problems, the back of the book. And if that didn't work, she would, get on the internet and just see if the answer's there, if you can type in the full answer. And if that didn't work, she'd go in and talk to the teacher and see if he could walk through. And it was just amazing. That was like right there, I told you 6 things she would do to stay resilient in the face of all those obstacles. So after that, if she didn't get the problem right, at the end of the day, ownership didn't hurt. She could own up to her results. She could say, well, I did all I could to make it happen. And now me, if I didn't get that right, I couldn't really say that, I did all I could to make it happen. So I'd kind of feel it inside. And that's something that a lot of people don't understand about this personal accountability thing, is you have to be all in, then you have to do whatever you can to make it work. And then you'll never regret anything. You never own up to it as painful because you did all you could. And it's a huge thing to realize. So then the best part that came out of that was how fast she learned, her continuous learning. That type of work ethic, that type of process helped her always be able to find answers and she got excited about her successes. And if she failed, she knew things to skip to streamline the process, things that didn't get her to her answer very fast. And so that right there was like the living proof of how personal accountability can make you absolutely amazing. What does this mean for our sports? Well, I started to really realize how many of my teammates were actually all in, or how much each day at practice, if it was a conditioning day, was I all in to getting better. I started realizing that some days I wasn't all the way in, so then I wasn't very resilient, and then at the end of the day I was like, man, I wasted that practice. You'll start seeing it every day. So the first thing you can start doing as an athlete is, if you got a big full day of workouts, commit to each one all in, stay resilient, and at the end of the day, ownership won't hurt. You won't ever be wondering if you didn't do enough that day. It starts to become really freeing and really refreshing to know that you are doing all you can. This also means that when you're at a game and everybody's there, we assume a lot that everybody's all in to the game plan or what we're trying to do or who we're playing. We assume that they're all in. But there's one thing that you can do, and this is what I recommend you do following this video, is either internally say, am I all in? What am I committing to? Am I into this game plan? Or with your teammates, find someone and say, can I count on you? That verbal yes. There's actually research out there that has found through the airline industry. That's why when you're in the exit row, they always ask you, will you open this door if we're going down? And if you nod, they're like, I need a verbal yes. They actually need that verbal yes because you're like 200 times more likely to follow through on your commitments. So if you, as an athlete, find a teammate and say, are you all in to actually trying to, shut down that player? Are you all in to try and, as a golfer, to aim for targets and hit those spots? Are you all in? And if that person gives you a yes, or can I count on you, they give you a yes, 200 times more likely to follow through on that. So to sum this up, let's really start embracing this fact that you can choose your own destiny, and personal accountability is not a skill set, it's a mindset that can be learned, that can be trained. So let's start working on that, starting with commitment. Then you stay resilient in the face of obstacles. Then ownership doesn't hurt. You can own up to results, good or bad, from here on out. And then continuous learning will come. You'll learn from your successes and your failures. So thank you, reality-based athletes and coaches, for tuning in. Let me know if you like this video. Give it a thumbs up. Give me some comments below. Where does this come up in your life? Are there times where you find yourself, not being all in, not staying very resilient? Or have you had a time where ownership hurt, where you inside knew that you didn't do, all you could to help the team or to stay on the game plan? And let's talk about it. Let me know. Look forward to seeing you next time, and happy playing days.
I can't help but be bored, unless I'm on the attack. And attacking's alright.